Hey buddies, welcome to another Brazilian Buddy Show. My name is Andrey and I'm here to prove to you that we are more than Brazil, than samba, football and carnival. Today we have a Canadian guest. So Meghan, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's gonna talk about Canadian things and things related to Brazil. So first of all, why are you here?
Um, well, it's interesting actually. I originally arrived in Brazil in 2008 in Belém, and it was through an internship with a Canadian government program. And I was working for a number of different environmental research centers at Embrapa. And
Oh,
yeah, Brazil's one of those places that kind of sucks you in. I was meant to stay for 6 months, and then I ended up staying for a year and 8 months. And then I met my now husband, and then ended up coming back and staying. So now I've been living in Natal for 8 years, and we ended up coming to Natal because of my husband got a job here. So
oh.
so yeah, but quite a long time now that Brazil has been a part of my life since 2008.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you said two different places that are not common for a foreigner, which is Belém, like
Hmm.
on the north of Brazil, and now Natal.
Hmm.
So yeah, you started to meet like the unknown Brazil, let's say that for foreigners. So
Hmm.
how was that trip to Belém? Because I know that there are I was there, and there are maybe indigenous culture there.
Hmm.
It was strange for you. How was it?
Yeah, it was very much a culture shock when I arrived. Belém, first of all, it's a very, very densely populated city. It's very vertical, and in Canada, we just have so much space and not a lot of people. So, whenever you saw, just people waiting for the bus in Belém, I was like, oh, what's going on there? Is there some sort of event happening? No, it's just people waiting for the bus. I wasn't used to seeing so many people together everywhere all the time. And of course, the climate, very, very hot, humid climate, the rainforest. It's
Dry,
very,
right?
very, no, very, very
No?
humid. Yeah, very humid.
Oh, yeah, it's the
Surrounded
opposite.
by
Yeah, yeah.
right, yeah, the rainforest and the rivers. But it's a very, very interesting and unique place. Belang's a very, very cultural city. There's always something to do. From Friday to Friday. Always lots of shows going on and cultural manifestations and lots of live music and carimbo. The food is very very
Yes.
delicious as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cachaças.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, cachaça de jambu. Ugh,
Yes.
cachaça.
Yeah, you said something 100% Belém vibe, which is
Yeah.
cachaça of jambu. Jambu, it's like a herb. And how can I translate that for English? When you drink jambu, um, you have something on your
It makes your mouth go numb.
yes, 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 exactly. So it's really interesting. So foreigner, if you are in Brazil, go to Belém and try jambu. It's really fun and yeah, quite interesting to drink,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
have
cachaça, it's sort of like rum. It's made from sugarcane as well, but not as sweet as rum. So this mixture, you drink it and your mouth kind of goes numb. It's a very unique experience.
yeah, have you ever been to Soure, the famous island near to Belém?
Marajó, Marajó.
Marajó,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Soure is one of the main cities in Marajó. I did spend a weekend there, but very little time. I would love to go back. Wasn't enough time, but I did travel quite a bit throughout Pará when I was living there. To Alter do Chão, into a number of Salinas and Bragança, in a number of just beach towns.
You was everywhere. You were
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, it's
That's
one of those
nice.
things I think, when you're visiting a different country and you're only meant to be there for a short amount of time, then you make the most of it. So, a lot of the weekends you pick up a car and drive
Yeah,
to
and in
place.
Marajó, you saw buffaloes on the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah. I searched. I just don't remember when, but I saw that in Marajó, it is the only place in the world that police officers ride buffaloes, and I just don't know why, but it's a interesting curiosity, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely
Yeah.
different, like. buffaloes going down the streets with police officers. That's really amazing.
It's
Well,
something
only
very unique
Brazil.
to my show. Yeah, absolutely. I can't say I saw any police officers and buffaloes, but I have heard that. And I did see lots of buffaloes when I was there.
Amazing. And then you went to Natal, right?
Yes, yes. I've been living in Natal now since the very beginning of 2013. But I first visited here in 2010. My husband moved here before, so we love Belém, but we always, before moving here to Natal, we wanted to live by the beach and in a city by the beach. So we didn't know where, but
Is he
at the
Canadian?
time, pardon me? No, Brazilian. He's from Belém.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Amazing. And I have an interesting question now because you said to me that you are fluent in Portuguese, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And in Natal, which is located in the northeast of Brazil, we have another way to speak. It's almost, a Brazilian and not Portuguese. They speak completely different from Rio or São Paulo, for example. So it was difficult to understand the accent. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I learned Portuguese in Belém, so they, I've heard that in Rio and in Pará, they're sort of the two areas that speak the most traditional Portuguese. You conjugate, for example, you conjugate tu, they use tu, where the rest of Brazil only uses você. And then it's like the chiada. They call it. It's a lot.
Cariocas.
Yes. It was very difficult for me. I was already, when I started learning Portuguese, I was fluent in French and Spanish. And so I thought it would be really easily.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could read Portuguese, written it's so similar to Spanish. So I could read it and I thought, it'll be so easy. I was very wrong, and I got very, very quickly frustrated the first couple of months that I couldn't understand anything, but it's part of the process of learning a language.
No, even for us from São Paulo, when we go to the Northeast and we start to, we start a conversation with someone there, sometimes we just cannot understand. So we have the word quente, we say quente, which is hot, hot actually, hot Portuguese accent. Yeah. And in the Northeast is quente. Mm-hmm. So what? Completely different. And it's really amazing that the way that they are singing, because in Portuguese people say that we are singing, it is completely different from São Paulo. And I'm from the coast of São Paulo, and we have another accent comparing to São Paulo City. So Brazil, it's so huge, and we have so different stuff there. And when I think about the foreigners learning Portuguese, well, you have a challenge. So good luck, and it's good to hear all the accents, because we have different slangs for that. So but I have another question now. Your accent, you think that it's more from the general Portuguese or the Northeast?
That's a good question. I'd say probably from the North, because that's where I learned Portuguese, and my husband's from there, so we speak Portuguese at home. And okay. But I don't use a lot of the northern slang, like mana and what else do they say, égua and stuff. But even like the most of my friends here in Natal are from Florianópolis and São Paulo and Rio and other places. I think it's one of those things, when you move to a new city, you tend to make friends with people who are also from away, because when you grow up in a city, you tend to already know people and such. So so most of the friends that I have here aren't from the Northeast, so I don't have so much contact, regular contact with the Northeast accent. But it's probably just a big mixture. I mean, people make fun of my accent all the time. I still have a very strong Canadian accent, particularly words with R, like caramba.
You say caramba?
Caramba, yeah.
Or the R sound, I know that it's different. For example, I don't know, caramba. You have the word R and the word R. You have the letter R, but our R, it's like ha or ra. And I know that in English it's like R, so
Yeah,
that's why you roll your tongue like caramba.
caramba. Yeah,
It's and I say
it's
like gringo.
yeah, it's what always gives me away when I think, I'm doing so good. Sometimes if I just speak a little bit and don't say a word with an R, then people actually think that I'm from the interior of São Paulo or from other
Oh.
parts of Brazil. And then if I say any word with R, they're like, ah,
Yeah.
definitely a foreigner.
But I think in general, like we actually think that it's cute. I think that's the same thing when we say um, you have Donald Trump, for example, and we say in Portuguese accent Donald Trump. For Americans, it's cute, like the way that we say, and I think that we think the same, right? Like we don't make fun for accents from different places. Like, do you agree with me? I don't know.
No, I mean, people that make fun of me, it's usually like in fun, just, like not mean or anything. It's just all in good fun, like friendly.
Yeah, I
I don't
totally.
find it insulting or anything.
Yeah, and now you are in Natal, which is
Hmm.
probably completely different from any place of Canada, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with
Mhm.
the weather.
Yes, you said something really important. It's like almost whole year 35, 40 degrees, and
Hmm.
man, it's really hot.
Yeah, it's the
It was
perfect.
easy that adaptation, like because you have a lot of dunes there, right? As you can see here in the picture.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a quite an interesting place, right? What
Yeah.
do you think in general? It was easy for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved the summer. I, wait all year for summer to arrive in Canada. So it's my favorite season, and I've always loved, beaches and stuff. My city in Canada, I'm from Halifax. It's a city on the coast, on the Atlantic coast. And so we have a lot of beaches as well, but we can only enjoy them 2 months of the year. So I was very, very happy to move to a city that allowed me to have summer all year round. Even when it's winter, it's summer. So, but yeah, it's very beautiful here. It's very beautiful. Lots of sand dunes and beautiful beaches like the one behind you. And it's easy to take a bike or take a car and go explore on the weekends. Every weekend seems like you're on vacation. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was in Natal, I could see that when we talk about tourism, it's really huge. Like we have a lot of cars, bogies, so they live for tourism. Like they want to show you everything. You have a lot of places, a lot of beaches. You have the biggest tree in the world, right?
The biggest cashew tree. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's neighbor city. I just forgot the name. I don't know if.
Parnamirim.
Yes, thank you. And it's an interesting place to visit because it's like a quarter almost, and a cashew tree, huge, huge,
Yeah,
huge,
it's huge.
really, really huge. And it's uh, really interesting to see how was the process to be like this. It's like something mutant. I don't know the story behind, but
Hmm.
it's really amazing. And you have the dunes, Genipabu, right?
Yep, Jenny Pabu. Yeah.
Genipabu, we have Ponta Negra, which is the the
Hmm.
the main the
Yeah, you can
main
see a little
neighborhood there.
piece of it behind you there.
Yeah, yeah. You have
Yeah.
that fortress, really.
Reis Magos, the fortress, the Reis Magos, where
Yeah,
the Dutch originally arrived 500 or so years ago. Quite
yeah.
some
I
time.
don't know the story behind, and we have the historic center, which is nice to visit. We have a stadium. You have a stadium.
Yeah, yeah, the Arena das Dunas. So you were talking about the
Yeah,
dunes. It's the dunes arena would be the translation. Yeah, it's
yeah,
in the shape of a dune.
yeah. There are more places. What do you
Hmm?
recommend for a
Oh,
person
oh
to visit
wow, there's so
Natal?
many places. Definitely the beaches. Recently, actually, during quarantine, well, since the pandemic started, and we've been spending a lot more time at home. Then my husband and I have we've both bought bikes, so we've been enjoying every Sunday going out and exploring by bike And there are just so many beautiful beaches and great little spots you can, stop and have a fresh like shrimp stew or, fresh coconut water. Oh, that was like one of the best things that we don't have in Canada. Fresh coconut water. You take the coconut, you just cut it and put a straw in, and it's amazing. So delicious. So that's one of my favorite things. We have some really nice lakes as well. Well, not really lakes, lagoons, I guess you would call them, that depending on the rains, in the middle of the dunes that form. So these crystalline pools that are really nice to swim in. Just so many nice beaches around. My favorite is Cotovelo, which is on your way to the biggest cashew tree. It's after Ponta Negra, you have Barreira do Inferno, which is a military area, and then Cotovelo. And Cotovelo is a really, really beautiful beach. But Ponta Negra is nice as well. I was swimming this morning, actually, because the pools and stuff are closed, and I've been swimming in the ocean. So I swam 3 kilometers this morning in the ocean. Yeah.
Wow.
There's quite a big, in Natal, because our weather is so nice and we have like a lot of open spaces, it's really popular with outdoor sports. So we have a lot of people that are really
kite surfing,
biking, windsurfing, swimming, what else? Yeah, lots of water sports.
We have a sport in Brazil, the sandboard.
Yeah, sandboarding. That's right. Yeah, sandboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people that in the dunes along the coastal highway that's behind you in the photo there. Then
our ski mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, ski mountains. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost the same.
Yeah, almost the same. Yeah, there's some the buggy tours, the sand buggy tours. They stop at some place they call it ski bunda, where you go down on your bum. But then there's some that you go down on your feet as well, like skateboarding, but sandboarding. So
yeah, it's really nice. And you have another city, like 2 hours maybe from Natal, which is called Pipa. Actually, the name is Tibau.
It's about an hour and 15 minutes. It's quite close. Yeah.
And probably the best beaches of Brazil is located there, like Tibau do Sul. It's really, really beautiful. I remember some beaches like Madeiro, Baía do Golfinho, Amor Beach. What else? Yeah, there are a lot of places there, and they have a mini city center, really nice. You have different flavors of ice creams. I remember it's like jambu. They have jambu there. You have fruits, and yeah. Have you ever been there? Probably yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there a few times. Pipa is such a charming place, especially for foreigners. There are a lot of foreigners there. You can walk along the streets and hear a lot of Spanish, a lot of English, German, various different languages. It's very multicultural, and a lot of Spanish. It's quite funny actually. A lot of Argentinians you see there who go spend some time, love it, and stay. So it's kind of difficult. There was a little while ago, there was a local program here that every weekend, then they would visit a different town within the state of Rio Grande do Norte. And when they went to Pipa, then they were like, "Oh, we're trying to find the locals. We're trying to find the locals." They couldn't, jokingly couldn't find any locals. All the locals were, Argentinian or they're, American from different places, because the locals and people have just taken on a different. They're really from everywhere. Very cosmopolitan.
Yeah, I remember some placards in Portuguese, English, French, and Italian, and I was like, what, in Brazil? Because it's not common to see, right? Even in English, it's always everything in Portuguese. So if you go to Brazil, like, you must learn Portuguese.
That's right, but,
yeah, there are some places that you can, find
you can get by,
different languages. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And now I always like to ask for any foreigner in this podcast. You are from Canada, so there are something similar to Canada, maybe food, maybe habits. What do you think?
Well, that's a tough question. What similar? I don't know. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Probably the general Canadian. He's he smile. He likes to dance.
Yeah, I think like uh, most a lot of foreign cultures in Canada is definitely similar to this. Although I'm from the east coast of Canada, we're much more open. But Brazilians are really really open, and so we kind of as a foreigner always get the I think I've opened up perhaps a little bit since living in Brazil because in Canada we're a little bit more reserved until you get to know somebody. In Brazil, Brazilians already come like hugging and kissing you and hey, like. But I find it really easy to make friends here in Brazil because Brazilians are so open. So that's really, really great. But yeah, it's quite different from Canada. I think just like the day-to-day life as well. Perhaps maybe it's just because of the city that I live in as well. But Brazilians really like to make the most out of life and really enjoy it, go out during the week or, take advantage of your weekends, go to the beach, meet up with friends.
Yeah, I know that we were colonies, so probably that's why we have a multicultural people, because probably you have French maybe mixed with English and probably Americans, and we have like something like Portugal, Africa, indigenous people, so we have a mix as well. So
yeah,
that
yeah, that's something actually that's probably similar to Canada. Canada is one of the most multicultural countries in the world. So in Canada as well, it's very, very common, even in smaller cities. My city's a smaller city, but where you hear lots of different languages and people, it's very common for people to be, second or third generation Canadian because it's a country of immigrants. So it's very, very multicultural, much more than, well, I haven't lived in all of Brazil, but, compared to Natal and Belém, then Canada is much more multicultural. So that's something that.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's something that was perhaps, that was really different actually compared to Canada. Canada's, you just see a lot more people from all over the place. But I think probably in Rio and Sao Paulo, then you get more of that. One of the things, for example, like just with food, I often miss food a lot in Canada because in Canada it's so easy. You can have like Indian restaurants and Lebanese restaurants, and Italian, and restaurants from all over the world. So many different options and types of food. But where Brazil, like each region has their own specialized, food, and they really love their local cultural dishes and stuff. Then it's harder to find that variety. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just different.
you said something fun because in Brazil, instead of to have a Portugal cuisine, you have a Brazilian cuisine from the region. Like in São Paulo, you have from Rio, you have from Rio Grande do Norte,
right.
different from other countries. This is really fun. That's true because I know that in Belém, you have açaí, but it's not açaí in an ice cream. Like
no, it's the real açaí.
It's different, and they eat with how can I say this? I forgot.
Farinha. It's like
farinha. Yes.
Yeah, a ground manioc flour. So they take the manioc, they soak it in water. Then they take this thing called a chipichi. It's like an indigenous instrument made from like straw, and they suck it out, all the water. What's left is a juice called tucupi, which they use to make a lot of soups, like tacacá or pato no tucupi, which I had for lunch today actually.
Yes, she knows everything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then what's left is this like dry mold that becomes farinha. It's this ground, crunchy manioc flour, and they put it in everything.
Yeah, and here in São Paulo, we eat like a sweet. So we put milk condensed, we put sugar, we put fruits.
Really? With farinha?
No. Here is sweet. It's not.
In açaí, you mean?
Yeah. And we eat like an ice cream. It's different from there. People mix with fish sometimes.
Yep.
So
they do. Yeah.
Different. And we don't have the indigenous cuisine. We don't put tucupi. We don't have jambu.
Yeah.
So you see, like I'm here in São Paulo, and that are a whole different way to cook, and you have Belém, completely different indigenous, culture inside there. So Brazil.
Yeah, and here in Natal they eat a lot of couscous, which I didn't. The type of couscous that I had only ever eaten before living here was what you call Moroccan couscous, what Brazilians call Moroccan couscous. So here couscous is made out of corn.
Yeah, here is different.
It's made out of corn, but they eat it a lot, and a lot of things. Pamonha. What else? A lot of things made out of corn. Pamonha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really nice. You were inside of the culture. Like, this is really amazing, because I was trying to remember it. Like, no, it's this, it's that. That's amazing. You could learn a lot of things. Like, we could talk about the cuisine from Belém, and I'm shocked because in the beginning I was, okay, let's gonna talk about Natal and the northeast of Brazil, and we are talking about the north. This is really nice. This is really nice.
Yeah, the north is it's got a special place in my heart because it's the first place that I lived and where I met my husband as well, where he's from. So, yeah, and just it's very, very charming. Just such a unique place in the world. The rivers, like in the north, you travel by river, by boat. It's the mode of transportation. The river highways.
This is really nice. And are you dating with a Brazilian, right? That are different from a Canadian? What do you think?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I've been with my husband for 12 years or so, so I don't even know anymore.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but
you're almost a Brazilian now.
Yeah, almost a Brazilian. Sometimes I'm glad that I still remember how to speak English, actually.
This is really amazing. And did you plan to go back to Canada and bring him, or like, no, I live in Brazil, I want to stay in Brazil?
Yeah, for now we have no plans to live in Canada. We're doing all right here. We're put. I mean, I was supposed to go back last year just for a visit, but obviously because of the pandemic, then that's been put on hold. So that's I think probably the toughest part is living so far away, and just particularly now that the Brazilian real has devalued so much, it just makes it so much harder to get home. So that's definitely a difficult part of living here, is just being so far away and not being able to get home so often. But it's part of it.
Yeah, let's gonna talk about it, because here, for example, the beaches are closed because of the coronavirus. And in Atau is the same thing, or the things are closed, open?
Yeah, I mean, it varies a lot from week to week. We just went through a 2-week period where we were mostly on lockdown, just essential services were working. But you were still allowed to go to the beach for, like physical individual activities, swimming or walking on the beach or something like that. But nobody was allowed to sell anything on the beach. Or you weren't allowed to stay on the beach. And now they've been open again. But I believe that they're encouraging the municipalities to close the beaches on the weekends. I'm not sure how it's going to go, because this will be the first weekend, so I don't know if Natal's going to adapt to it. But shops and everything are still open with the restricted hours, and you might be able to still walk on the beaches. I think they're just disencouraging people from like putting up umbrellas and laying out to have less people.
Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same thing here. Like here in São Paulo State, the things are not that good. And we are talking in April of 2021, and in Brazil, it's when we talk about that situation, it's not a good situation. So if you are listening to this like on April, or I don't know, from the next 3 months, we are like in this situation. I hope that we can find a solution and start to, because there are a lot of political stuff, and now you have the vaccines going all over the place. So let's pray and hope that we can travel again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I actually work in the travel industry, so it's been very, very difficult. And I know a lot of people who work in the local travel industry who've had to has had to lay off a lot of workers. So I mean, we're just hopeful. You want to be safe and make sure that people feel safe and follow along the guidelines, obviously, to help do our own individual part and contribute to reducing the number of people circulating and such. But has been really difficult to find that balance, because at the same time, like, there's a lot of people that still want to get back to traveling and, business that depend on it. So, yeah, we're really hoping that second semester, things will be better. And obviously, my heart goes out to all those who have lost somebody. Unfortunately, that's a lot of people now in Brazil.
Yeah, definitely. So, buddies, take care of yourself. I think that's it, right? So, Meghan, thank you so much for that conversation. It was really nice, and I'm impressed that you know a lot of things about the north of Brazil, and this is really amazing. And yeah, that's it. Do you have anything
thanks
to
so
say?
much for having me on, Andrei.
Can you
It's
say
been really great.
something? Can you say something in Portuguese to say goodbye? Like, hey, buddies, bye, bye.
Sim. Tchau, muito prazer, muito obrigada para me convidar para seu programa e muito sucesso. Abraço para todos.
Obrigado, obrigado. So, buddies, that's it. I hope you like it, and I'll see you later. Ciao.